In this video, we're gonna go over how we're planning to double our Etsy sales in 2024. From 2022 to 2023, you can see here that we increased our sales by 70%. So we're trying to keep that trajectory going by doing another at least 70% increase for 2024. Well, every niche is different on Etsy and every business model has different needs, wants, fears, and goals. There's still a lot of value from learning from other business owners that are doing similar things as you, even though we might not be selling the same thing with the same price points, the same value propositions, the same niche, right? There's still the high level strategy kind of remains the same. It's just pulling out that information and tweaking the dials and implementing a strategy that works for your customer avatar specifically. And that's really what this whole channel is about. There is thousands of hours of free information on my YouTube channel that I've been sharing since the first month that I opened my Etsy shops. Honestly, in reality, you wouldn't even need to pay for an expensive mentorship or course because honestly, every single thing I've ever learned about building a business on Etsy and Shopify exists somewhere in my channel. Not that there's anything wrong with courses. There's definitely real value in paying somebody in exchange for information because honestly, people don't value free information as much as paid information. That's just a fact for anything. People just don't value free things as much as paid things. But also, different people with different experiences, there's a lot of value from hearing from all different types of business owners and their experience, right? And their value in learning and experience is just as valuable as mine. I'm not digging on people that sell courses. Courses are definitely valuable, especially if you want all of your information consolidated in one place. But I'm just trying to make the point that there's a lot of free information on my channel. So anyway, in this video, again, we're gonna be sharing all the strategies that we're gonna be implementing for 2024, because as you know, in e-commerce, in business in general, the strategies that used to work don't technically work today. And also the progression of what next best steps you need to take for your business change over time as your business hits new heights. So let's get into this video. Before we hop into number one, let me just set the tone real quick. We are not doing POD. We're not selling digital downloads. All of my brands that I ever built were brands that we make, design, and sell our own physical goods. So our goods are coming from our office. So that is the nature of our business model. So in this brand in particular, this is my second Etsy brand. The progression of this brand that we're talking about is not the same progression and uptick as we saw with my first brand, right? So as we saw, this is what we did in 2021, this is what we did in 2022, and this is what we did in 2023, right? So if you've seen my older videos with my first brand that I built, that trajectory went like crazy. This one is not the case. And we're gonna explain why that is in this video and what we do to plan to change that. Also, a big reason that this brand did not take off as fast as my first brand is because I am a huge hypocrite on this channel and I did the number one thing that I tell people not to do. And that's why I push this so hard, because I'm speaking from experience, which is I couldn't even really focus on this brand for the first 2 years because I was building a different brand. So I wasn't even really able to give it the love that it really needed. Plus, somewhere in that, I decided to start this YouTube channel as well. So there's just not infinite hours in the day. So that is definitely on me. But as you can see, we're still going in the right direction. If you haven't seen my other Etsy video about whether or not you should open 2 Etsy shops, please cue that video next, because there's a lot of lessons that I learned by getting shiny object syndrome and trying to put my hand in too many pots at one time. And the worst thing that you can do is come into the game for the first time and think that you are just going to crush it with 5 different businesses at once. In reality, you need to master one thing before moving to the other. And again, I'm saying this sitting here as a hypocrite because this is exactly what I did, when in reality, I don't regret it, but I probably should have only focused on one thing. Because the reality is any single one of your business ideas can be $1 million business. But what's not winning is having a bunch of half broken engines, half built and not optimized, not really serving you to the max potential. Because every business venture, whether it's Etsy or not, has its own needs, wants, fears, and goals, and it is a child and it's gonna take up a lot of your time. So master one thing before moving on to the next. Also, full transparency, this brand actually has a really good profit model. Like the profit that it would make is actually really, really good. But because I am now vested in different business ventures, right, we are mitigating a lot of that profit to hire employees to manage it. So that really means that if we want to make real money, we have to increase our top line revenue, right? Our labor costs for the most part should stay about the same. But with that being said, the business model itself, profit-wise, is pretty good. It runs about a 25 to 30% profit margin percentage after marketing. So could it be better? Yes, but that's again why we need to increase our top line sales. Now, with that being said, let's move into the first thing that we're doing this 2024. While we have always had a consistent inflow of new product launches happening, product launches meaning not necessarily new product development, but the restaging, rebundling of existing products to launch more listings. So we do have a consistent inflow of new product development, but we have an even bigger consistent inflow of new listing development happening all the time. So that engine has been consistently running and growing, which has also helped us grow. But one thing that we haven't really done in this space or for this brand is cross over into different types of product lines. This shop is basically a one collection shop for the most part. So there's only so many keywords that we can go after that kind of cap us at our max potential because we're basically limited based on just selling one product type. So an example of this is if you're in a store that sells candles, right? And all of your candles just have different scents and different colors and maybe different sayings on the front, right? There's only so many ways that you can describe candle, which limits you to the amount of search pages that you can show up on. So we're kind of in that similar situation. So if we want to expand our searchability and be able to show up on more search pages, right, we're gonna have to launch complementary products while we're already launching that still makes sense for the store, but we can add different keywords to attract different customer avatars looking for different types of items. So if you are a store that only sells candles, right, an idea for you is to then sell maybe gift boxes that have a candle in it, but then also soaps or incense or something like that, or sell those types of products separately, but it still makes sense for it to be in your gift giving store. And so now people looking for soaps or for incense are a completely new, different type of customer avatar that weren't previously searching for just candles. Number 2 is introducing lower barrier of entry options for the existing products that we have. So what does that mean? The nature of this particular brand is that we're selling at basically the top price point per our niche, right? So we have a very high barrier of entry item because the customers that we're attracting is, the top customer avatar per the niche, basically. So an example of this is if you're in the jewelry space and you're someone selling solid gold jewelry, right? Inside the jewelry niche, you're attracting a very particular customer avatar that would rather spend $300 on a solid gold necklace versus the person that wants to spend $30 on a necklace, on a fast fashion necklace. So we're kind of doing the same thing in this niche where we're really limiting ourselves based off of our price point alone. Like we scare away a lot of clicks just on our price point alone. So in order to be more appealing to the masses, we need to introduce a lower ticket item or a lower tier collection of things to buy. And what we've seen in this last year is that continuing just to launch more of this same thing, but maybe just a slightly different style, but at the same price point, but with the similar same keywords, isn't really bringing us more sales because we pretty much have capped out for the market share that's available to us, right? So again, what we have to do to fix that is actually introduce obviously different products that attract different keywords, but also what we could do with that same product type is create a lower barrier of entry offer. So find basically cheaper things to sell. Now, this is kind of hard for us since we make everything ourselves, but we are trying our best to do this and source basically cheaper quality materials. Or maybe take things even a step further and just have to find an offshore production partner to make our designs for us. But we would obviously still have our high ticket offers and our low ticket offers. Keep in mind, if you are somebody dealing with the opposite, like you already have the lower barrier entry item, you should consider offering a higher tier option as well. There's always a customer that is going to buy the highest ticket thing just by the nature of it. There's always somebody that wants to spend the most money, right? So if you're somebody that historically sells a really cheap price point, consider offering higher tiers products or upsells of products, right? This is gonna help you increase your average order value. This is gonna help rank your listing better because Etsy is gonna see that your AOV, average order value, is higher than your competitors, and that listing is going to get prioritized over your competition. Number 3 is not offering free shipping. Now, this doesn't really have anything to do with our revenue, but we did prove with data that not offering free shipping actually doesn't affect our sales. Obviously, it doesn't because our sales increase, right? So Etsy says that you should offer free shipping, but what we saw is that the nature of our customer avatar, they're already spending the highest ticket per the niche that our our customers actually don't care to spend a little extra money in shipping. So what we discovered at the end of 2023 is that we were actually running a really high shipping cost percentage. So our shipping cost was about 8% of our total revenue, which is like a lot. So what we did is actually on some products, we don't offer free shipping at all. On other products, we meet them halfway and we cover about half the shipping for them. Now, obviously this didn't contribute to the top line, or it's not going to contribute to doubling our sales. So it's definitely saving us about 4 to 5% every year annually on shipping. And this last one is really important. So you're going to want to make sure you stay to the end to fully understand this. Number 4 is getting stricter on our targeted ROAS with our ad spend. If you have watched any of my Etsy ads playlists, you may know that for this brand, our break-even ROAS is 2x. So in our Etsy ads, in the ROAS column, we have to hit 2x to basically break even on the ad level for that product or that listing. Now, if you don't know what break-even ROAS are or how to run Etsy ads or anything about Etsy ads, you might get confused at this point. So you're gonna wanna cue my Etsy ads playlist and check out my full Etsy ads trainings, the psychology behind Etsy ads, why it's important to run Etsy ads, how it makes your shop competitive overall for the long term in business, all of the things. But if you do understand what I'm saying, then you're gonna wanna listen in on this. Essentially, my personal ad strategy is just because when I go analyze my ads at a good time period and I go analyze my listings and obviously the ones that are spending the most, if they're not hitting my break-even ROAS, that is not to the extent of which I'm determining on a high level whether or not to turn the ad on or off. If you've seen any of my Etsy ads, I'm actually a little bit crazy and I'm actually willing to go as far as breaking even compared to top line sales on with my ads on before I did turn it off. Meaning I'm not comparing what the ad spent versus what the ad generated me. I'm comparing what the ad spent versus total revenue with organic sales included. And I'm pulling out my marketing cost percentage from that. And that is where I determine turn the listing on or off or not. And like I said before, I'm a little bit crazier where I'm actually willing to spend more money in a listing to the point where I'm breaking even compared to top line revenue for the listing, where most people won't do that. But in my mind, if I'm gaining a new customer, potentially getting a new review, Etsy in the long play is going to return the favor by bringing me more organic traffic when I show them that this is a really good product. And even though I'm spending more money, right, it's going to contribute to the organic growth as well. Now, what we've run for the last 2 years, in 2022, our overall marketing cost percentage was really high, like 18% for the year. In 2023, we got it down to about 14%. Now in 2024, my goal is to try to get it lower than 10%. That's a really big goal, but I'm going to try, right? So from 2022, basically chopping off an 8% marketing cost percentage for the year. That's 8% more money in my pocket. Now, in order to tweak the dials and get it down lower, that means that in this year, in 2024, I have to become more strict with what I'm determining as a dead listing or not, and turning on and off my ads and turning off the ones that aren't hitting the right return sooner, so that more of that ad money is going to the other listings that essentially are making me bigger returns. Again, if I'm losing you at this point, please go and cue my Etsy ads playlist or some of my Etsy ads videos so you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Keep in mind, when you're running Etsy ads, the strategy that works for somebody selling low ticket versus high ticket versus, big niche, little niche, right? The strategy is different for every single person. So what my metrics are particular to me may not necessarily mean anything to you, but it's still good, I guess, to hear the insight of what I'm doing. So before, like I said, I basically would keep the ad on basically at break even compared to top line revenue. So I will analyze the total lifetime spend of the listing compared to the total top line revenue. So organic sales and sales coming from ads. And I'm looking at that ratio. And essentially, because my break even ROAS is 2x, that means that I will allow my marketing budget go up to 50% because 50% basically would put me at break even. If my top line sales was $2,000, I will let the ad spend up to 1,000 because that would put me in basically at break even. Again, if you don't know what break even ROAS are, there's full ads trainings, but also I'm launching a software next month that is gonna be calculating all of this for you. And it's the first ever real-time profit tracking solution for Etsy merchants. This does not exist yet, where we basically track all of your cost of goods sold, all of your fees, all of your Etsy transaction fees, all of your processing fees. We're gonna be integrating with Printify and Printful if that is how you sell. So we can give you back all of your real-time profit. And we're also on a listing level going to be able to calculate for you after you share your costs with us. We're going to be able to calculate your break-even ROAS for you so you can have this happening automatically and be seeing, what listings are profitable or not. Profit Tree is going to give you way more in-depth information beyond what I just talked about. So if you want to get on the wait list and get your first month free, make sure you click the link in the description. Backing up because we got a little sidetracked there. So the moral of the story is, before I was super lenient about my ad spend because the winning for us was just gaining more momentum faster than our competitors. I didn't care if we were breaking even on spend versus top line sales. And we would look at that in lifetime spend, but also I would analyze it in a 6-month window as well. So I would analyze, what is happening in the most recent 6 months, right? Are we breaking even? Are we losing money, or maybe are we profitable compared to top line? Now, in the future, we're gonna get more strict on this because this is what's gonna get me down to less than 10%. So in the future, what we're gonna do is we're gonna become more strict, and breaking even is not gonna be good enough anymore. We're going to allow the marketing cost percentage compared to top line sales get to about 20%. Now, it's not all of my listings at 20%, right? What I'm saying is that I will allow to keep my ads running for listings if they go up to the 50% mark. But now we're saying we're only gonna let them go up to the 20% mark and turn off anything that is not meeting the cut for the last 6-month period. Now, this will dramatically change where the ad money is going to and make sure that we're only pushing out ad money to the listings that are the top performers. And so hopefully by making my strategy more strict, we can get lower than that 10% mark. Now, again, different businesses have different thresholds, right? So the threshold for you might be even way more strict. Maybe for you because you sell really low ticket items, or you have thousands of listings that eat up your ad spend really fast, right? Maybe it's just as simple as if it's not hitting break-even ROAS on the ad level, then you turn it off, right? Whereas mine is a little bit more lenient. Break-even ROAS isn't the only KPI that I'm actually looking at. Anything under break-even ROAS gets my attention to investigate further, because basically if it's breaking even on the ad level, then we're definitely making money when you factor in organic sales. That's why I don't turn it off right then and there. But for you, if you're selling, low ticket, like I said, or you have thousands of listings, right, and it spends really fast, right, this is a whole completely different strategy that pertains specifically to you. Overall, guys, these are the 4 things that I'm doing in 2024, and I'm excited to keep you updated on all of the things that we're doing. Somewhere in the middle of 2023 as well, we also really started scaling Shopify. We didn't really focus on that either, but all of my brands are normally Shopify and Etsy brands. I don't talk about Shopify as much because not as many people want to know about it, but if you've seen my other videos, Shopify is a whole different engine. It's a whole different monster. If you're interested in learning more about Shopify and me putting out more Shopify videos, make sure you comment that down in the comments section and let me know what you want to know, and I'll share back anything that I know. All right, guys, thank you so much for staying to the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.